So before doing anything, we'll go over your deck.
Okay.
And we'll talk about literally every single piece on that deck.
Okay. Do we want to just do it as a game?
I think it's important just to go over the cards first, just so you understand like what they all do.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's basic Pokemon,
Yeah,
and they
those
indicate
are,
basic. And then there's evolution Pokemon, and the evolution Pokemon will say what they evolved from.
Okay.
And that does become relevant. Some cards require the existence of an evolution Pokemon in order to function. You don't have to worry about that in this deck specifically. I don't play any of those in this one, but it is worth noting that if a card cannot evolve, there's no card that exists that evolves into it, then that existing card can't be played. But for the case of this one, you're totally fine.
Would that require like an item, or like what would it need? It would need the.
Yeah, so there are some items, like, for example, a rare candy.
Yeah.
Requires the existence of a Pokemon that can evolve in order to be played.
Okay.
Whereas if a Pokemon can't evolve, like Teal Mask Ogrepon, there's no evolution for it.
Gotcha.
Then you can't play a rare candy with it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Is this for training minutes or is it upstairs?
Sorry?
Mostly upstairs.
Pardon me?
Mostly upstairs.
Mostly upstairs,
Oh, okay.
yeah. This is like the stay and learn to play down here. And then upstairs is everybody's hanging out, playing games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So
Yeah, no problem.
I've always been wonderful.
Okay, good. So the whole crux of this deck focuses on attaching energies to this guy and then switching the energies to this guy so that you can use his attack, which requires 2 grass energy and 1 fire specifically. And then when you attack with Regidrago, you get to choose any attack from one of the dragon-type Pokemon in your discard pile. So you can choose to use Kyurem's attack, Giratina's attack, or Dragapult's attack. Typically, you're using Dragapult's attack because it does 200 damage to the active Pokemon, the one that you're targeting.
This ability can be used when he's benched?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so with
The only thing they can't do is they can't attack when benched, but they can use their ability, and then your active Pokemon can ability and attack.
Yes, unless
Okay.
otherwise stated.
Okay.
So some abilities say they have to be active. Some of them say they can't work when they're
Okay.
active.
But if it doesn't say that, good from the bench, good from the
Correct.
active spot. Okay.
Yep. So Dragapult does 200 damage to the active Pokemon, and then you can place 60 damage however you want on the bench.
So when it says a damage counter, it starts at 10.
yeah,
10 is the minimum.
A damage counter is 10, and placing a damage counter is effect damage, and dealing damage is a separate effect. So there are some cards that block effect damage, and there's some cards that affect
Which would be
block.
that type of damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Kyurem,
But
for
not that
example.
type of damage. That
So-
200 would be good, but the additional 6 would be the effect damage.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Whereas Kyurem does 110 damage to 3 different Pokemon, and that's damage, not effect damage.
Okay.
You're not placing damage counters.
Gotcha. And that makes sense because there's no number there beside that Trifrost.
Well, no, the Trifrost is dealing damage.
No, but like in this case, it's got
Yeah.
a 200, which is
It's-
the dealing damage,
yeah.
and then down here, it's the effect damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, you can think of it like the wording is does damage versus places damage counters.
Okay.
And then Giratina just does 280 damage. It just does a lot.
Yeah, I see a lot of people wanting this card.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
relevant.
Okay.
And then you'll see here, like Regidrago has 280 health. So if you get hit by Giratina, then he's just dead. And that's why you play the Giratina.
Okay.
There's also a Radiant Charizard. He's not a dragon type, so you can only attack using his own power.
Yep.
But his ability is it takes 1 less colorless, and a colorless could be any color of energy.
Okay.
So it can be water, fire, psychic, grass, whatever. And it's 1 less for every prize card your opponent has taken. So however many times your Pokemon get knocked out,
Yep. He becomes more relevant.
he becomes more
More
relevant.
powerful. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're easier to attack with. So like essentially when your opponent has taken 4 prizes or knocks out
You
2
start with
Regidragos,
6?
You start with 6.
Okay.
Yeah. He just attacks for 1 fire energy.
Okay. And he's doing 250 for 1 fire.
Yeah. It's very good. And then last, there's
So he's kind of an end game active.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So intuitive. Yeah.
Well,
So-
again, have played a lot of
Yeah.
just not this game.
Yeah. So these are what we call support Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm reading a lot about this guy too. What's so awesome about this cat?
So we'll start with
This bird.
We'll start with Squawkabilly.
Okay.
So Squawkabilly on your very first turn, either if you go first or second,
Yeah.
you can discard your hand and draw 6 new cards.
Okay.
So you're just card draw, like crazy amounts of card draw.
But he would have to be in my hand on initial draw for me to play him immediately.
He'd have to be on your bench or in the active on your first turn before you end or attack. But there are many ways to get him out, and we'll go over that. Like there's search cards. There's
I was watching you go to town with.
Yeah, Pheasantipity. If one of your Pokemon gets knocked out during your opponent's turn, you can just draw 3 cards with it.
Say that again.
Yeah, if one of your Pokemon get knocked out by your opponent during their turn, you can draw 3 cards.
Okay.
Yeah, on your turn, and you can choose when to draw the cards.
Why?
So
why would you not just choose them at the beginning of the turn?
That's a good question. Because you might be playing a card that shuffles your hand into your deck, or a card that searches for another card, and then you'd tutor for a card, or you'd search for a card, and then you draw 3 more cards after that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Latias is kind of cool. It just exists so that any basic Pokemon doesn't pay any energy to retreat. So you'll see here like a retreat cost of 1. You have to attach an energy to it, and then discard the energy in order to retreat it.
Can I only retreat on my turn?
Yes.
Okay, so you're attacking me. I can't retreat.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless otherwise stated.
Okay.
There are some cards that will allow you to
retreat. So it's kind of like an interrupt or a.
Yeah, neither of these decks play that.
Okay. But they do exist.
They do exist. So then, back to this. Iron Bundle is another support Pokemon. His ability can only be used on the bench. It can't be used when he's active. And you discard him, so opponent does not take a prize card for it. And then you force their active Pokemon to switch out during your turn.
Okay.
So
kind of like a boss's order.
It's a boss's orders, but the opponent chooses what Pokemon gets promoted.
Okay.
Yeah, but exactly. Okay. And then lastly, there's Badoo.
Yep.
10 damage, no energy cost for your treat, 30 HP. Your opponent can't play items.
Okay. Yeah, I see that stalled.
Stalled Dean, yeah.
The individual sitting here.
Yeah, it won me the game.
So what's the counter to that?
Knock it out.
But that seems so straightforward with everybody able to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's like a skill test now. Like, how do you play around Badoo? How do you build your deck around getting Badooed? How do you make it so your opponent can't play Badoo?
Okay.
Yeah. So like against.
But it seems so. And maybe I'm missing something here, but it seems fairly straightforward. If you could get, all you need is 3 grass on this guy, and he's doing, and that guy's done.
Yep.
And you can put how many?
You can attach 1 from hand per turn plus the ability. So you can attach 2 to this guy.
So I could get 2. So second turn, I could be.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But sometimes that's all it needs. Like if the Badoo gets off, then you can't play items, and for some decks, they lose a turn. And,
gotcha.
Yeah, it's just tempo. So that's all of the Pokemon.
Okay.
And so like main idea when you're going on your first turn is you load up the energies on these guys. You find a fire energy for the Regidrago. And you're typically only playing like 1 or 2 on the bench ever. You're not playing the full 3 because you're never attacking 3 times with Regidrago. It's usually going to be attacking twice with Regidrago and then once with Charizard.
How many am I allowed on my bench?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 plus the active for 6 total.
Okay.
So that's the Pokemon side of things. And then for the trainer cards, there's 4 Nest Balls. In Nest Ball, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it on your bench.
Makes sense. That's straightforward.
Yeah.
And you can play
As many item cards as you want per turn.
It's the supporter cards you can only play 1 of.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And then Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for any Pokemon, add it to your hand.
So the idea here is I want to be discarding the things that I want to steal their attacks from?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Or other cards that are kind of useless. For Energy Switch.
What else would be useless in this deck?
Oh, so like if you have 3 Ultra Balls in hand, for
throw out an
example,
Ultra Ball.
yeah, you can discard the other 2 Ultra Ball.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Energy Switch, you pick one of your energies attached to a Pokemon and move it to another one of your Pokemon. That's why you would do the ability for the Ogerpon and then Energy Switch it onto the Regidrago. So like if you have 2 Ogerpon on the bench, you use the abilities, you attach the fire to the Regidrago and then 2 Energy Search or 2 Energy Switch, and then Regidrago is fully powered
Okay.
in 1 turn.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to see that, but
Yep. Yep. 3 earthen
It makes
vessel.
sense. Yeah, I've read about this card. This seems to be pretty potent.
Yep. Discard 1 card from your hand. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards. You're only playing basic energy cards. All right. Hello, YouTube. If we're back, if this makes it. So you understand the earthen vessel. Discard a card.
Yes.
Fine. Yeah,
The
perfect.
search for energy.
Yep. So you're super rod. So you can be aggressive with your discards on the first turn, and you can just super rod back like your Ogre Pawn or your fire energies or whatever you need, like your Reggie Dragos if you discard 3 of them.
Okay.
Time catcher.
Yep.
It's the best ace spec. It's the best generic ace spec. It's a boss's orders as an item.
Which one?
Just the regular, yeah, just not
Oh, like
So this is where I'd want to be moving one of mine as well.
Yeah.
So I'm switching yours and I'm switching mine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Although if you've got the Pokemon that you want to be attacking with first, then you can actually, it combos with Badoo because Badoo has free retreat. So you can actually Prime Catcher and use it as a boss, switch the Badoo, and then retreat back to Reggie Drago.
In the same turn.
In the same turn.
Okay.
Yeah. You can retreat once per turn,
Okay.
and this is an effect switch, so you can use the effect switch and then retreat with the Badoo if that's how it ends up being. Canceling Cologne, this is a tech card because sometimes you just have a card that makes it so you can't play the game. So like there's a Manaphy that blocks bench damage, and you would play Canceling Cologne with the Manaphy in the active position so you can use Kiram's attack and deal 110 to 3 things.
So these only work for the one turn that they're used on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so you're going, yeah.
Terra Orb searches for an Ogre Pawn or a Dragapult,
Oh, okay, that's cool.
and there's no discard cost. You're just playing it for free. It's a free search.
In the deck?
Okay.
What?
I only have
For Professor's Research, that's a supporter.
Okay. That's once per turn.
Yep.
Or sorry, only one per turn.
Yeah, one
Okay.
supporter per turn.
Okay.
That's discard your hand, draw 7.
Okay.
There's 3 Iono, which is you shuffle your hand, put it at the bottom of your deck, and then draw off the top based on the number of prize cards you have left. So this card, it
So
sounds
each
complicated.
player shuffles their hand
Yeah,
and puts it in the bottom. Why do you have to shuffle your hand?
because there are cards that. So, for example, let's say you only have 4 cards in your deck.
So they're not going in the same order. So
Yeah.
you're randomizing
You're
the cards that
randomizing
are in
the
your
order.
hand to put them
Yeah.
on the bottom. Makes sense.
Yeah.
If either
It's-
player puts any cards on the bottom of their deck in this way, you draw the equal number of
Yeah.
to the prize cards.
Yeah. The shuffling of the hand is only relevant once every like 20 or 25 games.
So it's like if
But
it's
Because if you had like nothing left in
Yeah.
your deck, you could put them in the right
You
order.
can put them
Here
in the right
can't.
order, and then you
Okay.
just redraw them.
Yeah.
2 boss.
Yep.
Yep.
Switch your Pokemon.
Switch your Pokemon. And 1 Crispin.
I don't know what he does, but I know
Yeah.
that guy needed
Yeah.
it for whatever reason.
Yeah. Search your deck for 2 different basic energies. So in this
Okay.
case, a grass and a fire. Attach one immediately as an effect, and add the other one to your hand.
And this wouldn't count as the energy that I'm allowed to attach once
Correct.
per turn. So
Yeah,
I get
so-
a book. So I could effectively end up if I had
If you had
Like-
all 3 Ogre Pawn.
well, let's not go. I
Okay.
wasn't go that far.
Okay.
If I had an Ogre Pawn on my bench
Yeah.
and I played this card,
Yeah.
I'd be able to attach something to the Ogre Pawn.
Yep.
Something to something else. Something is part of my turn, and put one in my hand.
well.
Okay.
Okay.
Remember that.
So yeah, I'd be able to throw down 3 energies.
Yes.
Okay.
And then 1 stadium, it's jamming tower. Attached tools have no effect. Your deck doesn't play any tools. It just shuts off deck side
Tools
2.
for the other person.
Yep.
And again, that's just for that one turn.
Nope. A stadium stays in play forever.
Okay.
Until either another stadium comes in or you play a card that gets rid of the stadium.
Gotcha. Okay.
3 fire energy.
Okay.
I have 3, 6, 7 grass energy. Are you shuffling now? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is just going to be the first one because they are all perfectly in order, and
Yeah.
then I will shuffle more like you.
Yeah. So what you're doing is called pile shuffling.
Yep.
You're familiar with that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
I
it's-
watched a dude on a stream.
Pardon? Yeah, I got 2 open ones right back
I
there.
watched a dude on a stream do this, and he was even more complicated, and he had wicked hand motion.
Yeah.
Could have been a magician.
Yeah.
And then he draws his hand, and
Yeah.
it was like garbage. It was
Yeah.
like he had 5 of one card and
Yeah.
2 of another card. But after this wicked randomization, I'm like, oh, poor dude.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh no, and then it was like his shuffle was insane.
So the pile shuffling you typically only do at the beginning of a best of 3, just to make sure you have 60 cards.
Fair enough.
Because you can actually stack your deck doing a pile shuffle. Because you're not actually introducing randomness, you're faking the introduction of randomness. So like if you have your cards in a predestined motion, then you can just be like, okay, well every third card is going to go into this stack.
Yeah. But you would have to be looking at, like what I did, looking at them, and you wouldn't do that in front of your opponent, because then they'd know your entire deck.
So like, for example, if you take your deck and you say, I have the perfect opening 7 cards, and I'm going to put them every 8th card in the deck, then you
I see
can,
what you're saying.
yeah, you can pile shuffle and cheat.
You literally watched me cards face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I thought this was casual day, man. Like, I've got like 4 aces in my pocket.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's poker. Ah, wrong game.
Yeah. It's Pokemon, not poker.
Yeah. Oh, I get confused. All right.
So when you feel like it's sufficiently randomized,
I'm happy with that.
yep, then you offer a cut to your opponent.
Sure.
And
Oh, you want that one too?
that'll do this one. And that'll be your start. And then you can cut mine as well. Okay. And then at the beginning of the game, you always roll to see who decides who goes first. So if you're playing TCG Live, it uses a coin.
Yep.
It's very easy to cheat a coin flip.
Okay.
So we use dice.
Okay.
Evens are heads, tails are odds.
Okay.
So I ask you, heads or tails?
So you said evens or heads?
Evens or heads?
Tails.
That's a 1. That's a tails. So you can decide if you want to go first or second. Reggie Drago always wants to go first.
So I want to go first then.
You want to go first?
Too easy.
Yep.
I'm drawing 7.
7, yep.
How nice the play energy looks in the sleeve.
It looks very nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. So you're looking for a basic Pokemon, and if you have it, you place it face down in the active position, or at least closer to your opponent.
So in this case, well, I'm gonna ask because
Well, I can look at your cards.
I ended up with all of my Pokemon.
Yep.
So I could play that.
Yep,
Can't play
that's
that.
correct.
Can attach that.
Yep.
So that would be my first turn. So in this
So you're
deck,
choosing between these 4.
So in this case, I want him on my bench.
He can be in the active too. His ability works both on the bench and in the active. But Reggie Drago is just the premier active Pokemon. It's the one you're going to be attacking with anyway.
Yeah. So then that's kind of what I was thinking. So
Yep.
he's going to go there,
Yep.
and I'm going to attach the grass. So okay,
But you would do the effect attached to draw an extra card to the Ogre Pond.
it doesn't have to be out.
Yep. Yeah, when you
Am I allowed? Sorry, am I allowed to? I'm allowed to put him in active and him unbenched in the same turn.
Yep.
See, this is
Yep.
okay.
Excellent question. So for me, I do not have a basic Pokemon.
Okay.
So what that means is, since you do have one, you choose one first,
Okay.
and you just put it face down. And then you take 6 cards off the top, and those become your prizes.
Mosquitoes research and retrievals to break.
Yeah.
So let's say I have.
Perfect. And because I mulligans, you will draw at least 1 card.
But not yet.
Yeah, so the way that we indicate it is we just put a die on the top. So this is 1. If I have to mulligan again, it would be 2.
Because I get to choose when I draw that card, right?
You draw it before your turn starts.
Okay.
And since you're going first, you'll draw it at the beginning.
So do I draw an additional card as part of my?
Yeah.
So I'm drawing 2 right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But you're drawing 1 before the game starts, and then you're drawing 1 at the beginning of your turn.
Okay.
Yes. Off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Still don't have a basic. Perfect. I swear this never happens.
I'm liking it. It's a good teachable moment. I like it.
For sure. Absolutely.
None of this is scripted, by the way.
It's not. No. If it was scripted,
I'd already have been lost and crying in the corner.
I would have lost. I don't win on the script. I don't need myself to feel better.
Me either. I'm old now.
I just like playing Pokemon. You can give it a cut if you want. Okay. I got a basic. Let's go. Hey.
Oh, fancy. I like
Alrighty.
it.
So you can take 2 extra cards now. Or you can take up to 2 extra cards. You don't
I don't have to?
You don't have to,
Okay.
but you should.
Okay.
And then, good luck. So you flip it over,
Sweet.
and then it's now your turn. So
So
you
I
can-
start with the draw.
You start with a draw.
Oh. Right on, didn't get you there, Denny.
And you can play up to 5 Pokemon on your bench.
How many am I allowed to put down in one turn?
Up to 5.
Oh,
You can fill your bench on your turn.
benefit of doing that? Why would I want to do that? Would I want to do that?
It's contextual.
So in this case, if I had a bunch of the teal mask,
Yeah. You
I don't want
play.
to throw them all down because I want to get that extra. I want to get the ability.
Yeah.
Okay. But so I know I want to do that one.
Yep. But it's also, you might want to leave a bench spot in case you have a way to get like Squawkabilly or Pheasantipity or something.
No,
so
that's
you can
fair.
start drawing cards or drawing more cards.
So now with the things that I want to evolve, that can't be on my bench. I have to wait until.
Until a turn has passed since you
But he can't sit on my bench and then
No.
he's got to come in and he'll replace him.
He goes on top of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if the evolution gets knocked out, the basic also gets knocked out. They both
So
go
in
to
this
the
case,
discard
this
pile.
might be a fun one to play as well, just for
Yep.
that ability.
Yep.
I wouldn't worry about him so much because nobody should get knocked out in the first couple turns.
Correct.
So-
And you can play him down after something gets knocked out, and then you can draw with it as soon as you play it down.
Sorry. So on your turn,
Yeah, so like on my turn, if I knock out one of your Pokemon,
I could put Fez in play.
you can on your turn,
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
and then you can draw cards with him.
All right. So in this case, I want to now use this ability.
Hey, that is my first good goal.
But I don't have anything.
Pardon?
So I've only got the one energy. I think I want to put it on this guy.
I think it's always best just to put it onto the Ogre Pawn because you can draw into another energy, you can draw into a way to get energy, you can draw into an energy switch, and then just like drawing a card is always pretty good.
Gotcha. Okay.
Code card in the box.
Sure. Yeah. So I just have fancy 3D printed ability used icons. So it's a once per turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
like, why?
So you've attached, so you get to draw. Yeah.
So they can ask me questions. Where's the washroom?
Oh, just right there. Yeah, so once per turn, you can attach a grass energy and draw a card.
Okay. So I've done that. So I'm thinking now that to get.
Well, you can actually Terra Orb first, get another Ogre Pawn.
Wild. Okay. Yeah. It's just it's
Yeah.
unfamiliarity with the
Yep.
cards. Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I've never seen this card before. I've
Yep.
seen this card, so I've read that card before.
Yep.
So in this case, what do I do? Do I just show it and then throw it?
You play it down,
Okay.
and then
And then I put this
Resolve the
down, so I
effects.
gotta.
search your deck for any Terra Pokemon. And Terra specifically
Yep.
has this line of text.
So, but in this case, I'm specifically looking for.
Ogre Pawn.
Do I have to show it to you?
Yes.
Yep. So there it is. And then I want to shuffle.
Well, you don't have to shuffle if you're going to be searching your deck again. Because there's no interrupts in Pokemon that would stop you from
Oh,
searching.
so at the end of my turn, I would shuffle.
Whenever you're about to draw cards,
Okay.
or whenever you're done searching.
I think I think I'd have to remember. I think I
Yeah.
should shuffle after because if I
Yeah.
forget, away
Yeah.
I go.
That's
So
fair.
I've done it. I know that's done. So that's done,
Yep,
and then
and that's
that gets
discarded.
discarded.
Face up.
Oh, okay. And
The
then this.
discard pile is public knowledge to both players.
Okay. And then this guy would go there.
Yep. And then now you can play Earthen Vessel.
Oh, because I need the yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So then I would play that,
Yep.
and then now I'm
choose
looking.
a card to discard.
And in this case, I'm guessing.
Probably. Yeah, you already have another
Yeah.
one.
So that goes discarded.
Yep.
That goes there. And in this case, I probably want to get my fire out now because I have more grass.
Yep. And you can look for a grass and a fire.
Yeah. So I one,
Perfect.
So in this case, I'm going to use that ability. I'm
Yep.
going to attach that.
The other way to do it is you can use a coin just to indicate that the ability's been used, or you just tap it like magic.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that, I haven't done that yet. So I am.
So you've attached, but you haven't
I've
drawn.
attached, so I'm going to draw a card now.
Yep.
And I still haven't attached an energy as part
That's
of my
correct.
turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's there. So now I want to attach the energy, and I would guess that out of that, I'd probably want to get the fire energy down.
Fire onto the Reggie.
Okay, so slide that under there.
Yep.
And then with this, that I'm holding.
Yep.
Do I want to get this out sooner than later?
I don't have any tools. I just have a little 30 HP guy. So holding on to it could be relevant. I could play a stadium myself, and then if you play that, you discard my stadium.
Makes sense. And then I would say I'm done.
Yep, because you can't attack on the first turn, you can't play support on the first turn.
Oh, that I did not know. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can't play a supporter on the first
No
turn.
attacking, no supporters on. So you can't either.
I
Or-
can.
Just because I went first.
Yep.
So on the first turn, not you.
The first turn, not your first turn.
Gotcha.
Okay, now we'll draw a card. And there are some exceptions. There are cards, like supporters, that will say you can play this on the first turn.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
deck doesn't play any of those, though.
Yeah, but there are
they
the
exist.
little exceptions. Gotcha.
Yep. So I will start with a Buddy Buddy Poppin'.
May I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's search my deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less,
Okay.
and then just put them on the bench.
So are you playing some kind of Death by 1,000 Cuts deck?
Kind of.
Okay. I'm just seeing this guy. I'm seeing 2 below 70.
I'm playing a deck that focuses on damage manipulation.
Okay.
So I will try and have as much damage manipulation as I can possibly muster.
Okay.
So I'm using often for 2 Dust Calls. The evolved form of Dust Call, Dust Glops, knocks himself out, so you take a prize card, and he does 50 damage to anything I want.
Okay.
And the fully evolved one is the same effect, knocks himself out, but does 130 damage to anything I want.
Okay.
Hello. And I will Nest Ball. Nest Ball searches for any basic with no HP limitations. I'm choosing Squawkabilly. Then I will play Irida, which I search for a water Pokemon in any item card.
Okay.
Of which you. I don't want you, so I'm grabbing Radiant Greninja and a Nest Ball. Read Greninja. And then I will play the Nest Ball.
Sorry, does he go on your bench right away?
This one goes to the hand. So,
Okay.
and then I Nest Balled for Palkia.
Okay.
And now I will shuffle my deck because I'm done searching.
Okay.
So I've played my supporter. I've not attached an energy yet, though.
Nope.
So these all go to the discard pile. I will put down the Radiant Greninja. And then I will use Squawkabilly's ability and just tap it to indicate that the ability has been used. I discard my hand, which consists of 1 rare candy, when I treasure 2 Ultra Ball. And I draw 6 cards.
Okay.
Ryan, do you draw the first turn?
Yes.
Yep, always draw every turn, no matter what.
Yep. You have to draw.
Unless you have no cards and then you lose.
That's right.
I learned that yesterday.
Yeah. If you have no cards to draw at the beginning of your turn, you'll lose.
Prevent ability.
Yeah.
Prevent your opponent from drawing next turn.
Yeah. There are cards that do that.
And then be like,
I was going to say there has to be because there
Yeah.
is in Magic.
oh,
Yeah.
track them.
Yep.
No,
There are
But that
strategies
wouldn't be a
around
guaranteed loss. If you were prevented from drawing, that wouldn't
No.
be that would just be an effect of a card.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just card effect. Yeah. So I'll play down my Stadium Pokestop.
Gotta be creative on against that kind of thing. You need new options though. There's ways to do it.
And I will use the ability of Radiant Greninja. So once per turn, I can discard any energy card and draw 2 cards.
Okay.
So it's like Ogre Pawn, but I discard and I get 2 instead of 1. Okay, and then I will use the effect of Pokestop to discard the top 3 cards of my deck. And if any of them were items, they get added to my hand.
Okay.
So these 2 get discarded, so they're gone. And then from there, I will attach 1 water energy to my Palkia,
You might be in trouble.
and I will use... Oh, and then
This can't kill
we'll just move those out of the way because your turn ended.
Oh, so at the end of my turn, I can take them off. Okay.
Yep.
I was going to take them off at the beginning, but
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But there's no interaction for if your opponent used an ability on that Pokemon. So you don't need to indicate it.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess like on Magic, like beginning of your turn is when you do that
Yep.
tap phase. So it's similar, but it doesn't matter. Cracking Shot, I'm just going to put 30 damage onto the Regidrago.
What do these have on?
And so they're like 10 to 30. Yep, perfect. And then when you attack, the turn ends.
Okay.
So I'll just untap, and it's your
So
turn.
attack is always the last thing.
It's always the last thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless otherwise stated.
Okay.
And then basically after that, just like check up
Yeah.
for missions.
So I'm going to draw.
Yep.
Can I just quickly check out if you got those cards?
Which ones?
Can I just grab the cards in the boxes from you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then I'll swing it over to this game that we're teaching right now. And you can grab a chair and come hang out.
All right, so hear me out here.
Yes.
This is my plan, and I don't know if this is the intent of this deck,
Yep.
but I want him to attack this turn. All right,
Yep.
that's my idea.
Yep.
So I'm going to only do one of these
Yep.
to get that 1st, use his to try to get a second to get, because if I'm reading this correct, this doesn't count as,
That is the attack.
no, not the attack. So the fact that I've got
One fire.
that, I can discard the top 3 cards of my deck. If any of those cards are energy cards, I get to attach them.
Yeah, but that's the attack.
Oh, then okay, I see what you're saying.
However, you have the evolution for it, and he has an ability, a once per game ability, using the V-Star power. So once per game, you discard the top 7 cards of your deck and choose 2 cards from your discard pile to add to your hand. But it all starts with drawing with Ogerpon first.
Yeah, so that's the first plan. So
Yep.
I like tapping, like
Yeah.
you said, it was magic. So that's the first one.
Yep, and then draw a
And
card.
then I get to draw a card.
Yep.
I may not be done drawing.
Yep.
Um,
And there's
with-
also a Pokestop available to you as well. You can use the effect of My Stadium on your turn.
okay, so that would be, so I was actually thinking if that didn't work, then that would work. But
Yep.
if that counts as the attack, I'd probably want to use yours,
Yes.
which is,
Discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If any of them are trainers, or any of them are items specifically, you can add them to your hand.
okay.
So just face that.
Yeah, so that doesn't help with the idea that I was kind of gunning for. But
Well,
that all kind of hinged on the idea that I could do both those things in a turn,
I see.
but I can't. I can only do one of them.
If you Pokestop and you get the energy switch, do you remember energy switch?
Yeah.
You can then switch the grass energy to him and attach the other
Oh,
grass.
interesting. So interesting. Yeah, why not?
Tap it.
Lo and behold. So I get to put all the items in my hand,
Yep. So the
So-
Regidrago gets discarded
but that's good because
Yeah.
there's that card that lets me attack from.
from when you evolve him.
Yeah. So I want to do that. So now what I could do is I could do that as my, well, I guess, does it matter which order you do it in? Should I do the energy switch first, then play my energy?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so move a basic energy to another Pokemon. So in this case, would it matter? Is it better to leave balance 1 and 1? Like what's,
So if you didn't have Latias,
Yeah.
then yes, it would be better to have 1 and 1. However, because Latias's ability gives you free retreat, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have an energy. So better to have 2 so you can attack next turn if you need to with that.
okay, so I would take that one,
Small percentage.
put that there, and then I would play my energy.
Yep,
And then now he's ready to attack.
he is.
But I don't want to attack because that's the last thing I do.
Yep.
Now what does this guy do?
Which guy?
This is the Ultra Ball.
Oh yeah, you can search for any Pokemon by discarding 2 cards. So do you have another way to discard cards in your hand?
No, the
Okay.
only. Hang on a sec. Do I play that on your turn or my turn?
Your turn.
Okay.
But I don't have an ability that.
No, I'm just I was wondering if it's
Yeah.
because again, Magic you can interrupt
Yes.
people, and this
Yeah.
is where this is different.
There's no interrupts. In
I
Pokemon.
cannot disrupt your when you're doing your business. You're doing your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no. So in that case, I would not have a way to discard cards from my hand.
Okay.
I could replace your Pokestop now,
You can, yeah.
but I don't see the point.
Since it is
'Cause
beneficial to you as well.
Yeah. So I don't see.
So are you familiar with Pokemon, like basic Pokemon, evolution Pokemon, energy cards, trainer cards, etc.?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy to redo the whole thing that we did from the beginning.
Sure.
Again.
Yeah.
I just want to get one attack off.
yeah, absolutely.
That's all I want to
Yeah.
do is I want to get one attack off, and then we can.
Yeah.
Because
So then-
it's still a lot
Yeah.
to take in.
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm just I'll use the Ultra Ball.
Yep. And you haven't
Oh,
used
sorry.
Yeah, you haven't
So-
used it, sorry.
But if I evolve him, can I attack with him?
Yes. Yeah. Now you're kind of piecing it together here.
Okay, but his.
Yes.
Okay, am I missing something? What's his attack?
Apex Dragon for 2 grass and 1 fire. You choose an
I
attack.
didn't even see that on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
choose an
just saw
attack.
this nice
Yeah,
box
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I totally missed that. Okay, so in that case, he doesn't have to be on my bench. He can go right into play.
Yep.
And he stays with 30 damage.
Yep.
So he stays there. I still want to do this as well.
Okay.
So you can use this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for a Pokemon. I don't know if it really matters, but you're not using items. I've already got that guy in play. And just arbitrarily, because he's in the deck, I'm going to find that guy because he looks cool.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw him in my hand.
Sure. Yeah. But you can't
Oh,
use the
actually-
ability on your second
Do you
turn.
want to what? No, I don't want him. He looks way cooler, so I'll put him in my
Yeah.
hand. I think I'm done drawing, so I'll give
Okay.
a quick shuffle.
And then since
Since I have nothing else to do, what the heck? Because I'm gonna knock out your Poke Tower, so get rid of that.
I think you might as well use the V-Star ability.
Oh, why not? Eh? But
Yeah.
if I use the V-Star ability, I can still use the Apex Dragon.
Yep. Yep.
You just can't do 2 things that
Yeah.
have.
So this is an attack.
Yep.
And when you
Gotcha.
attack you on the turn, when you use an ability, your turn still continues unless otherwise stated.
All right, we're gonna V-Star this. You may discard the top 7 cards of your deck, then put 2 of those cards from your discard into your hand.
2 of any cards in your discard pile. So just to indicate the V-Star, we just flip it.
Okay.
So like we have it.
Oh,
available,
that
we
stays
don't
out
have
on. So
Yep.
you get to see them as I discard
Yep.
them.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And I get to put 2 of these in my hand.
2 of any 2 in your discard pile. Yeah.
I'm arbitrarily going to pick Badu because it's cool and I own it.
Cool.
Just why not? Because I've never played a supporter.
Well, you have to do find out.
And this is arbitrarily just fun, so I'm going to play her,
Okay.
and then we're gonna shuffle that.
Yeah.
my 3 cards. We're going to do that, and then we draw. How many prize cards we have?
Yep.
Busy.
I am. Yes. Is it for grading or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have so many fun cards that I could play here, but I'm just going to attack
Yeah.
for.
Well, do you have a card that can discard?
Oh,
now?
I totally do.
Oh, you played a supporter though.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. So, Nest Ball, Energy Switch, Enemy Switch, Crispin.
Yeah. Nope. Because the only thing that I was
Nope.
gonna say
Nope.
is that if you had a way to discard Kyurem, you could use Kyurem's attack and knock out 3 Pokemon instead of just 1.
You're like, use the dude instead of this guy.
But I can put him in play,
You can. Yeah.
but I can't use his ability yet because he's not.
Well, you can use the ability, but the ability is a passive. So if your opponent has a Colress or a card with Colress in its name, then he attacks for only 1 colorless energy. But I don't have a Colress.
Okay, fair enough. But I'll put him in play because he looks cool, and then I'll attack for.
So you can pick any dragon type Pokemon in the discard pile.
I know I've got one.
Yeah, you've got the Regidrago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pick the attack of. I'll pick the
Use
attack
the
of
other
that
one,
Reggie.
use the other
I'll
one.
pick the attack of that Regidrago, which allows me to pick an attack of another Regidrago, which is 130.
There you go.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So then he would get knocked out, and you'd pick a Pokemon to deal 30 damage to,
Okay, and then I would get.
and you take.
I would also get one of those.
Yep.
You've got 2 of those, so that makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I pick that guy,
Yep. Sure. Yep.
and then I would say my turn's done.
Yep. Yep. But then we'll scrap.
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna.
Yeah.
We'll start again. Wild.